awareness. So brand awareness is, we all know what that is. It's all when your target market has some familiarity with your brand. How aware are they of the business that you've created? So there are 5 main ways to get brand awareness. One is Facebook ads, then we've got influencer marketing, Google display ads, online PR, and TikTok. And what you'll notice is that 4 out of these 5 are paid and 1 is free, and that is TikTok. So when you're trying to get brand awareness, you need to realize that it's actually quite an expensive task. Now, I want to talk to you about Facebook ads. And remember, when we're talking about this section is all about brand awareness, not traffic to your website, not making the sale. It's about getting your name out there to as many people as possible. So this type of Facebook ad is specific to brand awareness. So what is working right now is interest-based targeting. So if you guys know Facebook ads, you'll know that when you create one, you've got to select the goal. So I always select conversions as the goal. Not brand awareness or reach, as counterintuitive as that may seem, because conversions essentially targets people who are more likely to click through and convert. Reach and awareness, I think it just kind of spends your budget and it could send it to anybody. So I always set the goal of conversions. And then I always say that I'm going to be targeting interest-based targeting groups. So for example, if you sell swimwear or you sell sustainable swimwear, then you want to be targeting people who are interested in sustainable clothing, swimwear, beach, swimming. That's interest-based targeting, as opposed to what we used to do a year or 2 ago, before all those iOS changes, is that we used to target a lookalike audience, and that doesn't really work anymore. So when you create a Facebook ad for brand awareness, there's just 3 main steps. 1 is to select the goal of conversions. 2 is to have interest-based targeting, so really focusing on what people are looking for when they're finding your brand. And then the 3rd thing is, and a lot of the time people say that videos, and especially UGC or user-generated content, is what's working right now. So they're saying, I guess I'll give you an example where, you know how you see all the time people unboxing videos and saying, oh, I love this skincare. It's like the only thing that works on my skin. And this is the kind of ad that is a UGC ad. So there are 3 ways of doing that. You can either do it yourself and pretend you're a customer and unbox it. You can get someone to do it for you. So maybe a content creator or someone you hire, like a social media coordinator, or you can actually get your customers' videos to do that. You need to get their permission first, but that's something that's really authentic. For me, I think that UGC is okay, but I feel like every single brand is now so focused on UGC that it's becoming a crowded space. I sometimes like to go back to basics, which is just a really high impactful ad, a photo that has my brand name and really what I sell with text on it. Some ads tips here that I would tell you is that I want you to manually choose your placements. They will try and encourage you to have all your ads showing everywhere. They have hundreds of places where you can show your ad. I would say have it as Instagram posts, Facebook posts, Instagram explore page, Instagram stories, and Facebook stories. Those are the 5 that work the best for me. And then a tool, if you're not already aware, Facebook ads library is potentially the best tool to spy on whoever is running Facebook ads, whether that's your competition or any brand that you look up to. Have a look at their ads, and I would say look at them daily, because a lot of these big brands, they change their ads daily, and you can see what looks good and see what works and take inspiration from that. So influencer marketing, what is working right now? So I have a very love-hate relationship with influencer marketing. I think it can work brilliantly sometimes and it can fail miserably. And I think a lot of business owners, they're just over influencer marketing. It doesn't work the same as it used to. But then again, in the last year, I've sort of become my own business influencer on TikTok, and I do a lot of work for brands like, say, Shopify or TikTok. And I try and get people to buy their products. And I can see that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And the reason is when I really believe something as an influencer, the video works for them. And when I'm doing it just to get paid, which is what I did in the early days, it doesn't work at all. So you've got to write and find the right people for you. I would say that if you're looking at micro influencers versus big influencers, I would choose the micro, but not the ones that are so micro that they've got under 10,000 followers. They're free. They just want a gifted product. I would say that you need to pay money to get what you pay for. This is what I'm trying to say. I have paid big influencers before, and they actually aren't that great, but there's this sweet spot between 50,000 to 100,000 or even 200,000 followers where they've got an engaged audience, especially if they're, say, for example, parents or travelers or in the cooking space. When they have a really niche community, that's when it works really well. I do believe in paying influencers because I think that you can then use that and do it in 3 ways. You can use them on your website. You can actually use it in ads. You can use it on your social media. It's really, really useful to have. Some tips I would say about influencers, and a lot of brands don't do this, is ask other brands that those influencers have influenced for whether it worked for them, and really see if they got any orders from it, if they got traffic to their website. Maybe they got a ton of traffic, maybe they got some followers, but absolutely no sales. If you are paying an influencer $500, $1,000, $2,000, you want to make that money back at least. So not only are you getting brand awareness, but you should be getting sales as well to cover the cost. That is the ideal situation. So make sure you ask brands. Make sure you always have a contract in place. It could be the most simple contract, and you can find one online that is really basic, but make sure it has the deliverables and the cost and the timeline of when you want this to be done. Always check engagement. There is actually a Chrome extension that you can, I think it's called engagement rate. It's a calculator that will calculate anyone's engagement rate on Instagram, on TikTok, wherever that is. And it's really, really useful because you don't want to have an engagement rate of 0.003%, and they're charging you $1,000 for a post. It won't make sense. Influencer costs, absolutely, there is no standard. In fact, if you look on TikTok and you just type in influencer costs or payments for influencers, you'll see the range that there are. So for example, there is a fashion influencer who has 140,000 followers on Instagram, and for one post she charges $3,000. There is a business influencer, aka me, who has 300,000 followers on TikTok, and I charge $2,500. So this is just a rough guide. Again, you can use people for free. I just think that sometimes when you send them products, they don't have any obligation to post it. Google Ads, again, remember, this is all about brand awareness, not about getting traffic to your website. So just remember, this is what we're talking about. We're getting brand awareness, getting your name out there. So Google Ads for brand awareness, what I want you to do is target your competitor names on Google. So when I say this, I don't mean a small competitor. I don't want you to take business from a small business. I'm saying if you do gym wear, you can find some really big gym wear players online and target their name on Google. It's an expensive task, but if you do this right, and a lot of companies do this, so you can see that in this example here, if you do this right, you can actually be present and you can actually steal eyeballs from people typing in your competitor names. I think it's a really worthwhile tool to get you started on Google Ads. It actually allows you to show up where you wouldn't usually. So the Google Ads tips here is that I want you to use Google Keyword Planner. It is a free tool. And what you can do is click on find keywords for you. And you can actually see how many people per month in your country or in your city are typing in those keywords. So if you sell swimwear, you can see, if you look up, let's talk about gym wear. So say Gymshark, you can actually see how many people are searching Gymshark. You can see what the competition is like. You can see what the average cost per click is. It's a very useful tool to have, and it's completely free. There's another paid tool, which I always talk about. It's called SEMrush. It is quite expensive, but there is a free version of it. And I use this to see the exact ads that my competitors are using. I don't even take it as inspiration. I just try and steer clear of what they're doing. But for me, on Google Ads, it's a really, really great idea to target competitors when you're first starting, just to get your name out there, because what you want is your name to be thought of in their consideration set. They may not be ready to purchase, but when they do, they think of your name as well as that big competitor. And the only way to do that is when they type in the competitor name, your brand name shows up. Another thing is online PR. Online PR is expensive. So for Hero Packaging, which is my company, this costs us $4,400 per month. But there are other ways of doing it, which is like a DIY PR. There is Harrow, and it's short for Help a Reporter Out. And there's also a company called Linkbee. And Linkbee is a platform where you can put your name as a brand or a advertiser or a merchant, and essentially write some dot points about your business or any interesting story that you have to tell. And if any online publication decides that it's interesting enough, they'll pick it up. And they have links to a whole bunch of different publications, Daily Mail, but also all the news sites, all the magazines online. It's a really useful tool. And I was featured a few times using Linkbee. I thought it was an awesome thing to do. In the USA, what I found, because we're doing some research there at the moment, is that a good PR agency there costs $20K per month. So if you can DIY this, I mean, I think that's pretty awesome. TikTok, obviously, TikTok is my absolute number one thing that I want you to do, because at any given point in time, if you are starting a business or growing a business, you need two things. You need money and you need time. So a lot of people want to put in more money because they've got a bunch of cash. They just shove it into ads and they grow that way. They shove it into influencers, they grow that way. And a lot of people start with no money. They've just got their product, they've got it here, and now they're like, I need to sell it. They want to do it for free. So I say to them, go on TikTok and create 3 videos a day. And they say, oh, that's too much for me and I don't want to do it. So it's either money or time. You can't expect people to just come to your site or know about you if you're not going to do either one of those things. So TikTok is a great one, but you've got to be consistent with it. So what is working right now? As always, humor, education, and any aspirational content is working so well, and it will always work. It worked on Instagram in a different way, but really on TikTok, it's about just being almost normal. So I put here being extra normal. There are so many accounts on there that are doing so well by showing the daily life of people, and that is it. And then those people build up such a following. When they start a business, they've already got a bunch of followers. If you can show your authority or expertise in something on TikTok, anything, and you're teaching people how to do something, and then you mention, hey, by the way, I've got a business that actually sells things that I'm really good at, people trust you already, and then they're going to buy your product. So that's one way to do it. If you are a business that's going on TikTok, the one thing I would say is please do not try and sell your product. On Instagram, you can do that. You can just say, here's my skincare and it's amazing, it's affordable, and it's the best skincare ever. Here it is. On TikTok, you absolutely cannot do that. On TikTok, it's all about behind the scenes and the failures and the wins and things that are more real life in your business and about your products. And you can show how it works, but it has to be done in a more storytelling format. And the way that I grew on TikTok, it was literally posting 4 times a day. And I know it's not possible for lots of people. I just, any 30 seconds I got, I would post a quick tip of marketing or anything that I'd read on a marketing blog. I'd quickly say it on TikTok. And I just decided I'm going to do 4 times a day. And it helped me, and I grew, and I got to 300,000 in just over a year. So some accounts that you can follow for tips. JT Barnett, he goes through, he's in America, and he goes through how to create content and also how to use content creators for your business. Choose Your Social, she talks about trending sounds and trending videos that you can do, really simple ones that you can do to grow your business. And then obviously Sell Anything Online, because I talk about everything to do with marketing. I go from ads to content to a whole bunch of different things, SEO and PR. Okay, so that was brand awareness. That's the first part of the formula. I can see that there are a couple of questions, and I will go through them at the end, I promise. So website traffic is the second part. And this is a really important one. It's trying to get people to your website. So I want you to think about how many people are on your website every day. And I want you to think about how many unique people. So people who land there and then they come back again and they come back again, that's counted as 1 per 24 hours. I want you to always know how many people land on your website, because I always know that, okay, for every 1,000 that land on Hero Packaging, I get X number of sales on average. And so when something is a bit off, I can always tell, oh, I didn't get enough traffic. And so I'll do one of these few things that I'm about to talk about to get more traffic there. The good thing about website traffic is that 2 of these strategies are paid and 2 are free. And obviously you always want to maximize the free stuff and then amplify with the paid stuff. But let me start with the paid stuff first. So Facebook ads, remember, but this Facebook ad is specifically to get people to your website, not just brand awareness, but people getting them to the website with the intent of purchasing. So what we like to do here is a retargeting ad. And I'm sure you guys have heard of retargeting ads. Sometimes, they just don't work anymore because of those iOS changes, but there is a way to make them work. And I'm going to tell you what it is now. So when you create a retargeting ad on Facebook, what you want to do is the audience is going to be a custom audience. So you have to create a custom audience that's based on your website visitors, but then I want you to exclude people who have checked out. So what you're actually targeting is people who've come, they've gone either to a product page or wherever they've gone on the website, but they've left before buying anything. Those are the people we want to target. And that's going to bring them back to the site because they're already aware of you. They already went there. They're already interested. So it's an easy way to get them back in and make the purchase. And so you want to have an ad creative that's really going to convince them. So you might want to do a discount or a value ad, or just remind them that you've got free shipping and really super fast shipping. If you've got 1 hour shipping, this is the time that you want to remind them, and that can be in your visual. So with the retargeting tips, you have to remember that it is much harder now and it is much more expensive than it used to be, because we can't track people as well as we used to before these iOS changes. So the way you can get around it is to increase the window. So we used to do, target people within 60 days who haven't purchased within 30 days. But now we actually are using a 120-day attribution window. So we're saying anyone who's come to the site within 120 days and hasn't purchased within 90 days, we're going to target them. So we just made that window bigger to capture more of that audience. So the second thing in website traffic and getting people there is Google search ads. Now, Google search ads, there are 3 types here that I'd love you to consider. The first one is the main one, which is long tail keywords. So for example, if you sell swimwear and you sell bikinis, then your long tail keywords would be something along the lines of, sustainable bikinis in the UK. And these are a long tail phrase where a lot of people are searching for something in a sentence format. So it could be best swimwear in all of London. I don't know what they search for, something like that. Those are the long tail keywords. And you want to appear for that because that's exactly what you sell. And then the second type of Google search ad you want for this is branded. So even if you are small, even if no one knows about you, when people hear about you on Instagram, or someone's mentioned you in word of mouth and someone decides to Google you, you're probably not going to show up in Google search results yet. So what you want to do is pay for your own brand name to be there. Because if anyone Googles you, they should be able to find you before your Google ranking increases. And before you show up on the first page of Google, have your brand name as an ad. And I highly recommend this. And you don't have to pay a lot for it. $5 a day is plenty. And then the third one is product specific. So if you sell red bikini tops, then you will have an ad targeting red bikini tops. Similarly, if you target plus size, you would say, size 20 red bikini bottom. That is the product specific search ad that I want you to have. So long tail keywords, branded, and product specific. This is that when people are going there with the intention of finding something to buy, you are showing up in their Google search results. And Google Shopping is incredibly important. So people talk about Google search ads and then they stop because they think Google Shopping is way too complicated. It's actually not as complicated as it seems. You can do it through Shopify if you're on Shopify, and it's a very simple process once you get your head around it. You just need a merchant center, and then you need Shopify to connect, and then that's it. So your product feed is on Merchant Center, and what it does is it shows your ads automatically. It puts the text in, puts the image in. You don't need to do anything. You just need to make sure that your products are in Merchant Center. Google Shopping is expensive, but it brings in the highest ROAS, which is the return on ad spend, but it can get expensive. I actually went to the Google offices today, and I was listening to them speak about what is new in Google Ads, and they have something new called Performance Max, or they like to call it PMax. And that is, you don't even need to set things up anymore. You just hit Performance Max, you just click the button, and what it does is it takes your images, takes text, and optimizes and creates ads for you that work on the best channels and in the best placements, and automatically does it for you. If that's something you're interested in, then please let me know later, and even contact me outside of this, and maybe I can talk you through it. I was going to create some videos on this as well, but it's something really cool for small business owners because they don't have to do the nitty gritty of Google search and Google Shopping. Google does it for you. The tip here for Google Shopping is you must have e-commerce photos. E-commerce photos are your product with a clean background. It has to be absolutely plain. It could be a plain pink or plain blue as well. It doesn't have to be white, but it can't have text all over it and like things happening and lifestyle images. It needs to be a clean image. Okay, the first free marketing tool for getting website traffic is emails. Emails is awesome. To this day, it actually has one of the, or I think it is the highest ROI marketing tool out there. So what they say is that for every dollar you spend, and when I say dollar, it means like the monthly charge that they have. So for Klaviyo, it's like free for 500, and then you have to pay $20 a month, $50 a month. That for every dollar you spend, you're getting $42 back if you do emails in the right way. And I'm telling you now that emails are so important. And a lot of small business owners don't do it because, one, they think, I don't want to bug my customers, and two, I have nothing to say. Well, I think I don't want to say it's lazy, but I think you can be creative and you can think outside of the box. Again, you need to either put time in or money in, and email is one that is time. You need to think about what you want to say, and you want to say it in the best way possible to get them to open the email and then click through to your website. So how to get email signups? Of course, you guys have seen that you can have a pop-up on your website. That's a lot of people do that. And we are testing that at the moment, but for a long time I used something called Hello Bar, which is a little bar at the top of your website or at the bottom, or you can even have it on the side, and it does a little jiggle every 10 seconds to remind people to sign up, and you can give them a little discount code or a value add or free shipping, something like that, just to get their email address. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is through gated content. So you write an amazing piece of content that people want to know. So the best swimwear for XYZ shape, or, the 5 best swimwear brands in the world, something that people really, really want to know and click on, almost clickbaity, but the article itself should be value packed. And you protect that content through a gated system where they have to put their email address in to get that content. So then you get their email address and they can be put straight into a funnel. Now, my best performing email, and I've been doing a deep dive into email marketing with some of the best email marketers in the world. I've been listening to all the podcasts, I've been reading all the blogs about it like a real nerd that I am. And they are saying that the best email to this day is still text-based. Barely any images, if any at all, and it should look like you're sending it to your friend, to your mum, to your cousin. It is an email that says, hey, so-and-so, just wanted to let you know what's been happening here, or I just wanted to tell you that, yes, we've got a new product, but maybe you don't know how to use it. It has to be an email that looks like it's coming from a human being, And those emails do exceptionally well. They tell email providers like Gmail and Hotmail and Yahoo and all of those that your email is legitimate. It comes from a human being. It's not spammy, and it'll go into the inbox. And especially if you ask a question and people, your customers, start replying to that email, that's gold, because it tells them that your email is relevant to people, and it'll keep pushing all your emails into inboxes rather than the spam folder or the promotions folder. So another thing is, so that's one thing, and I would say you need to do that probably once a week, and that's just a really nice cash flow generator for your business. Another thing is email sequences that will essentially do it while you sleep. So the best ones that work for me are, of course, abandoned cart emails. So if people go through your website, put their details in, they've added stuff to cart, but then they leave, you can hit them with an email an hour later to say, hey, just a reminder that we've got free shipping on this. Please go through before those products sell out. Then I will send them another email 2 days later to say, hey, just a reminder, we're still here. If you want it, we're saving your cart. And then I leave them alone. Some people love to have 3 emails, 4 emails. I think that's too much. People don't want it, they don't want it, but I just try and remind them twice. So that email sequence is awesome. The second email sequence is that after a first purchase has been made, the next morning at 9 a.m., an email goes out to them, a personal thank you from me to say, I really appreciate it. We are a small business and I'm just genuinely really happy. If you have any questions, reach out to me directly, and I put my personal email address in there too. So that works really well. And then what I'll do is I'll do a 7 days later, how was it? Can you leave a review? And then I think I leave them alone after that too. So I think my email sequences don't go on for a very long time because I don't want to bother people, but at the same time, I have them there automated. So at least there is something, some form of communication, and I'm asking for responses back. So it's working in 2 ways. Okay, this looks like a lot of information, but I'll make it very simple. SEO is search engine optimization, is really where you rank in Google organically under all the ads. So Google is actually making it very difficult now to have those organic rankings come up. Because if you notice, if you type something into Google, you've got about 4 ads, you've got the Google shopping, then the 4 search ads, you've got ads down the side, and then you've got all these like questions that come up. And then you've got the search results. They're really trying to push paid because obviously it's their revenue generator. But I'm telling you right now that organic search is still one of the most important assets you can have in your business. If you can get to first page of Google, that is an asset that's very hard to beat from a competitor or from anybody. And so the way to do that, it's complicated. If you are really, really focused on it, if that's your full-time job, it can become very complicated. However, there are 3 things that I want you to do that Google looks at mainly. So Google actually has a formula of 200 things that they look at. I want you to focus on 4 of them. One is having relevant content on your site. It sounds really basic, but if you have product pages and collections pages and blog posts, having relevant content where, so if someone types in red bikini, they come to a page on your site that's all about red bikinis. It could be a blog post or it could be a product page, even a collections page. And they stick around and they click through, it tells Google that they've spent time on your site. What you're saying is relevant to the search term that they put in. It will push your website higher in Google search results. The second thing they look at is site speed. So especially mobile site speed. Have a look at something like Google Page Speed Insights, which is free, and it will tell you your mobile site speed and your desktop site speed. And it should be above 60 or 70 out of 100. Most likely it's sitting about 20 to 30 right now. And mobile site speed, people always focus on desktop, but mobile site speed is really what Google looks at. The third thing I want you to fix is backlinks to your website. That is any other website that links to your website. That is fantastic because it tells Google that you have some kind of authority in what you're talking about. If a website has linked to you, they must think that you're important, so Google thinks you're important. Backlinks are an incredible way to grow on Google. I would say here that this is where online PR helps, because if you get featured in a publication or a news article or something like that, those sites have such authority that links back to your website actually gives you so much more credibility. And then the last thing, it kind of goes with relevant content, but keywords. So if you sell red bikinis, red bikinis must be in all of your stuff, but not just in a way that it is like red bikini, red bikini, red bikini, red bikini, but it has to be in a really readable, easy to navigate information kind of way. The easier your site is to read and digest and process, the better it is for Google. So these are the 4 things I want you to focus on. This is what's going to get your site up much higher on Google search results. I would say it's more important than paid ads, because if you've got money, you can have an ad coming up, fine, and that's okay. However, if you are starting and you're bootstrapping and you don't have much, this is an asset you can build, which is really incredible. Just like your email list, if you can build that up as well as this, those are 2 assets people can't take away from you. So SEO tips, again, I use SEMrush for this, but I always look at competitors and I look at what keywords that they rank for, what backlinks they have, and I can see, okay, they have certain magazines. So I will then contact other magazines that are similar to see if they can also write an article on us. I can also see specifically where they get their traffic from too. Another little tip I would say here is if you're just starting and your website is coming up, on the 9th page of Google, the more people that click on your link, the higher it ranks. So get your friends and family to type in your brand name or anything that you sell, go through all the pages of Google until they find yours and click on it and tell everyone to do that. And it's going to start pushing your ranking higher. Okay, now we're up to website optimization. This is the 3rd part. And it's not as complicated. It's 3 things I want you to focus on. 1 is homepage changes, 2 is product page changes, and 3 is the trust elements that you have on your website. Homepage, remember, is what's going to convince people to click to go to the product page. The product page convinces them to add to cart, and then the trust elements gets them to convert into a sale. So the homepage, really on a basic scale, this is the stuff that you need to have. You need to have a clear call to action. Shop bestsellers, shop sale, shop red bikini. Have 1 clear call to action or 2 maximum. Professional image is what it's all about. If you're shooting on your iPhone, I think it can be okay if you do it in the right way with the right lighting. I would much prefer you have professional photos as the first impression on your website. Reviews needs to be front and center, especially if you're new. People can come to a website and say you've only got a few products on there. Reviews is actually going to make people think that you're trustworthy. Easy navigation. So for example, I say 2 to 3 clicks max for people to get to where they need to go. So if people have found a product of yours on Instagram and they love it, say you sell a sunflower dress, and they come to your website and they go, okay, I need to find this sunflower dress. They click on clothing and they click on all these collections that you called random things like the butterfly collection or, the red collection. You can't find that dress and you click through. If you have to click more than 3 times to find that product, you're leaving that site. And so easy navigation, call your collections what they are. Don't call them some random names no one knows. Even things like new arrivals, to me, it doesn't help sell anything because people don't know what new arrivals is. Call it what it is. If they're new dresses, call them new dresses. And this is a really important thing because it's all about that easy to click, easy to find, easy navigation on your website. Something I always do is use Hotjar or Lucky Orange to see where customers are clicking. There is a free version of both of these things, and I highly recommend you do it on your website on both mobile and desktop, and you'll notice that people are clicking on just main items. Barely anyone scrolls at all. So people love to build out this homepage with all this cool content. Actually, no one is going there. Maybe 3% of the people that come to your homepage scroll. It's a very interesting way to see where people are clicking. And then you can actually optimize that part of the site to make it even better. Okay, so your product pages, this is very, very important. So multiple images. I guarantee that on some of your product pages, on some of the service pages that you have, there's maybe 1 to 2 images, maybe a 3rd one, but you need to have a bunch of images. You need to have e-commerce images, lifestyle images, images in use, custom images, even reviews on there. This is extremely important. Reviews, of course, if you can have reviews, something that you can do if you've used influencers is to get them to leave a review too. If they're your first customer, get them to leave a review. Making sure you have multiple payment options. I completely understand that a lot of payment providers take a big percentage, but when we added a buy now, pay later option, it increased our sales by 30% overnight. So even though they take 6% of our sales, it's a huge volume that comes through and purchases based on having that payment option. So I highly recommend you getting them in your country. So in ours, we've got Afterpay and ZipPay and Klarna. And then I think in the UK, you've also got Klarna. And in America, you've got some other ones as well. But making sure that you have them as options will actually help your conversion rate. There are two types of shoppers, always ones that will just buy your product. They just need to see the images. They've seen it on Instagram, they just go and add to cart and purchase. There's a second type of shopper who will need to read every single word on every single page, all the FAQs, all the shipping, all the returns, all the exchange information, and then they will make a purchase. So you need to have long form content, because if you think it's looking too long, it doesn't matter, because the people who are going to buy anyway will buy. But having that long form content is actually going to encourage those other shoppers to purchase. If you've got your FAQs on the product page and they don't have to go anywhere else, and if you've got reviews and you've got, you know, all your exchange information, your refunds, shipping information, all on the product page, it's going to help that type of shopper to go through and make that purchase. And then related products, you can get apps for this, but making sure that you have things like frequently bought with, and this product will go with this product, and most people who buy this will also buy this. And then lastly, the trust elements. So trust elements, we've got the reviews, that's an obvious one. Lots of payment options, great. Then we need to focus on shipping, because a lot of the time people will abandon their cart because they didn't know about the shipping rates or the shipping times before they get there. So you need to have all your shipping information in the top banner or on all product pages. You need to make sure they know everything about this purchase before they get to cart. You're going to minimize those abandoned carts. You need to have your contact details on there to look like a legitimate business, and make sure you have things like bestseller badges. You can actually get trust badges, like apps on Shopify. They can place badges on certain products that are bestsellers. It really helps to convert those products. If you've got media mentions, you can put as seen in. If you've got influencers using your products, you can say as seen on. And making sure you've got a very clear refund and exchanges policy. There are companies out there like Refunded that can actually help you to make super fast refunds, and they handle the entire process for you. So that's something that you can consider as well. Okay, I'm going to move through this quickly. There's only one slide really for this one. So brand sentiment is your secret sauce. It's really what's going to make all your customers raving fans. And the way I think about it is this. In marketing, we've always learned about product, price, placement, and promotion. It's always been the thing. They still teach it at university today, but I want you to take those 4 Ps and I want you to add on the 4 Es, not replace them, but just add on the 4 Es. So instead of product, we're going to think of experience. And it's about what are they getting out of the whole thing? They have decided, after all the research, after everything that they've looked at, all your competitors, after they've spent time Googling things, a good experience rather than just a product. If they just get what they pay for, are they going to come back? Maybe, maybe not. So if you can give them a great experience, in Australia, we've got a company called Adore Beauty. They always give a small Tim Tam with every order. It's just part of what they do. They also have sustainable packaging. And so the whole experience is wonderful for the customer. And they also focus on very, very quick shipping. So because they hit pay and the next day or the day after they get their products in their hand and it comes with the Tim Tam and recycled packaging, it makes the customer feel good. So they haven't just thought about the products inside the box, but the entire process and the experience when the product comes to their doorstep. Instead of price, think about it as exchange. They're not just paying money, they're exchanging their time. They've done all this stuff, researching the best product. So they've chosen you. So they're exchanging a lot more than just their money. So make the experience worth it. And I want you to think about it instead of promotion as or sorry, placement, but think about it as every place. So rather than just going, right, I'm just going to sell here and that's it on my website, you need to be everywhere that they are. A lot of the times we go, well, I'll just post on Instagram and hopefully people come to my website. And then I talk to small business owners and they say, well, no one actually came to my website. No one purchased, even though I launched a new product. That's because you're not every place that the customer is. Be every place by being on, doing your SEO, having some Google ads running, having Facebook ads running, having a little bit of PR here and there. If you are every place, that brand recognition is actually going to get you the best kind of promotion. And then the last one is evangelism. So rather than just going, here's our product, it's the best product in the world, evangelism is turning those customers into adoring brand advocates for your brand. We did this on Hero Packaging when we decided to launch a whole bunch of colors to match branding for products and for brands. So because of that, the unboxing experience became such a huge thing, and we got tagged in multiple videos, and then we had brand advocates rather than just customers on Instagram. Now, the whole thing, that was the entire formula, but the whole thing comes down to content as well. So a lot of the time I get asked, but I don't know what content to make. So I'm sure you've gone through this problem before. I would say always have some kind of content pillar where you have a format to how you create content. This is some of the stuff. Take a photo of this. I can always share my slides as well, but you need to have 4 types of content: entry level content, category level content, community, and product content. And if you can use those as your pillars, then you'll never run out of things to post about. And this isn't just about what to post on Instagram or a video on TikTok. This is about your email marketing. You can even have ads that are about advanced tips or your journey. You can have case studies as your ads. You can even have your main banner on your website as a case study. So for example, we've got a company here, another packaging company, happens to be our competitor, Signet, and they, on their banner, which I think is pretty awesome, they've got Mecca, which is a huge cosmetics brand here, as their case study and why Mecca chose them to do their packaging. I think it's an awesome way to take these few things and turn them into multiple pieces of content. And I don't want you to ever say that I don't know what to post. Now, we did a round of capital raising, and these are just some bonus tips I thought I'd throw in here because this is what I got asked constantly by investors. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, these are the 4 metrics. They didn't ask me about how many followers we've got, or they didn't ask me about, how many impressions did we get on our ads. They asked me these 4 things: customer loyalty. So that is the return rate. So have a look on Shopify or your web platform, and they'll tell you, you've got a 46% return rate of customers, which is great. Your average order value, which is, of course, you want to increase that, and you can do that through apps as well. The third one is customer lifetime value, and how long do you assume that they're going to be with you for? And then you times that by the average order value. And then also the cost of customer acquisition. So it would be, how much did you pay for ads? And then how many new customers did you acquire in a 12-month period? And then you would divide the cost by the number of customers, and you would see how much it costs to acquire each one. And these are some secret marketing tools that I always recommend. One is Go Tolstoy. Every time I put this on Hero Packaging, and the number of sales we got through that was just incredible. It also increases time on the site. So what it does is it allows you to put videos on any page that you want, just little pop-up videos of yourself or someone using your product. It could be user-generated content, and you can have that, and you can even, people can even shop in those videos of products. So it's incredible. Milled.com is an awesome one because you can see any of the big brands' email campaigns. You can see how they've designed it, what text they've used. It's just really good to get some inspiration. Hotjar, I mentioned, you can see where people click on your website, and then Yotpo as well. Yotpo has 5 different things, but the ones that I really like are the SMS ones. So if you're thinking about trying out SMS marketing, which I am right now, I'm trying out Yotpo, and it's doing some really, really cool stuff. And they also have a new subscriptions model, which essentially can turn any e-commerce product into a subscription model, and they handle it all for you, which I think is pretty cool. And that is it. And I am going to get Talia to just bring people up if they've got questions, and I'm more than happy to What time is it? Okay, we're still on time, which is good. I'm more than happy to answer anything at all.
There are loads of questions in the Q&A section if you want to start going through them.
Okay, so downloadable. Yeah, I'm definitely going to share this with Talia, so you absolutely will get my slides. Linkbee question, paid per click, what sort of budget per article? Okay, so Linkbee works like this. You choose your cost per click. So it could be something along the lines of you choose $2.50, or the higher that you choose, like, so say, for example, if you choose $5 per click, the more likely an online publisher is going to publish an article about you because they want to get that revenue. I did it and I got featured in a one called Pedestrian TV, also on Broadsheet, which is awesome for our business. But I think we ended up paying about $800 for 2 articles, and they did so much for us. So it was 100% worth it. You can set your budget, and some publishers want more, but some of them that you can get away with a maximum spend as well. Teacher. No, so courses and memberships, I do steer clear from those. So I actually don't have any. I'm really sorry. I would say start with all the free stuff. I'm not a huge fan of the courses unless they come from Google themselves or Facebook. They're the best ones. Absolutely start there. Also go to YouTube and look up specific problems. And then, for example, if you're doing Google ads, I want you to start the Google ads process. And anytime you get stuck, say it says, what goal do you want? I want you to go to YouTube, type that question in there and find the answer, and then keep trying it yourself. This is the only way to learn. I want you guys to be able to do the marketing yourselves, but I don't know about online courses and memberships. I'm very sorry about that. Tips on how to optimize Google Shopping. Yes, what I heard today was that the more products that you add, the better it is for Google to optimize your shopping campaigns. You can also make sure that, say, so for us, we've got packaging, but we sell it in lots of 25 all the way to lots of 500. And what we did wrong was we put all our products there. So it was actually displaying our lots of 500, which made it look really expensive on Google Shopping. What you want to do is have your cheapest products come up first. And it's a really nice way, an entry point to get people to click through and then explore your other products too. But it's one of those trust the process things. Google Shopping does tend to optimize really well. So, what couple of things would you pick from your experience to start off, as it can get overwhelming? Okay, it depends on your budget, but I would say always start with long tail keywords on Google. And I think Facebook right now, I don't want you to spend too much on Facebook. Start with Google, because what you want to do is get the people who have the intent of buying to actually come to your website. So Google, and then a whole bunch of content. Wherever you can do social content, I want you to create that consistently every single day. What is the best place to sell digital products? So, okay, always have a website, but then also go through all the marketplaces that you can find. The way that I grew my previous business, even though I had major competitors in the space, is that I just started to be where they were not. And so I listed it on eBay, and people were like, why would you list luxury goods on eBay? Because it's sold and no one else was doing it, and people are buying from there. So I did eBay. You can do Amazon. Etsy is a great one. And then what you would do is, after they purchase, you would have the email sequence or a thank you card or whatever it is in the package, and lead them to your website, and give them an incentive to go to your website. And so really you're everywhere, but you're trying to get more people to your website for their next purchase. Emojis in email headlines. If you use them like you would with your friends, great. If that's how you speak, great. I don't use them. I will always just write a subject line that it's like I'm sending it to someone that I know. Hey, I haven't heard from you in a while, or hey, I haven't spoken to you in a while. Just thought I'd say hi. That's something that I would write. Emojis, they do say that it works, and I've seen a lot of brands do it. To me, it does look a little bit salesy, because I just wouldn't usually do that. And Lana, I didn't understand. What is Lana? I don't know what I said about Lana. Sorry. And
Anita, we've got one more question in the main chat.
In the main chat.
Oh, a couple of more questions are coming through now.
Oh, Klarna, sorry. Klarna is a payment method. It's another buy now, pay later one that we use. So there's multiple. You must use as many as possible. Best place for a newbie to begin creating social content for a new brand, TikTok or Instagram? TikTok, 100%. TikTok. So I will give you my example is when I wrote my book and I had 500 of them land at my doorstep, I realized I forgot to create a website for it and I forgot to create an Instagram page for it. I was so busy writing the book. So I was so embarrassed because I didn't want my friends and family to think it's not selling. I went on TikTok where I knew all my friends and family wouldn't be there. And I just started to create 4 videos a day. And that's all I said to myself. That's all I'm going to do. And it grew and grew and grew. And now for free, my book sells out every time just because of organic content on TikTok. I can't do that on Instagram. How does marketing change for B2B businesses? That's a loaded question. And I will say this. I will say that B2B is a longer process and there's a lot more people making a decision. However, what people thought about B2B marketing back in the day was so boring because it's like you're selling to a business or an entity. But what I want you to think about is you are selling to human beings just like you would sell in a B2C business. So I want you to treat them as such. We are a B2B brand with Hero Packaging, but I treat it like a B2C business. I have fun colors. I talk in silly ways. I have content going on all social media platforms. And I recognize that people buy in a longer purchasing cycle with B2B. That's the only difference. Otherwise, my marketing stays the same. What would you suggest about selling value products and premium products? That's an interesting one. It depends how you do it. And I just need to know a little bit more. If you're selling value products and premium products, it can be really hard to identify your brand. It depends on the way that you're doing the content and also the way how you're directing certain traffic to that. So you need to be really, really segmented in the way that you attract customers to each specific landing page for those products. Without knowing what they are, I don't know. I would say that it's a very difficult task.
I think that might be it, Anita.
I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's
we've
it.
gone through all the questions. So I just want to say thank you so much for such an informative masterclass. We've had some great feedback already in the chat. And it was amazing to have you on, and we will be sending a recording to everyone afterwards. So if they miss parts or they want to watch it again, I know lots of people in the chat saying they want to watch this every single week for motivation. So we'll be sending that to you as well. But yeah, just want to say thank you so much, Anita, and I hope you have a good evening over in Australia.
Thank you guys so much. Yes, I actually love to be here because my husband's doing all the bedtime routines now, so I can. I'm happy to be here. But yeah, but I'm just so excited to talk to business owners all the time. And please, you have any questions, you can email me at any point in time. I will always answer it if I know the answer to it. But you can also just ask me on Instagram. Just find me somewhere and ask me a question because I'm always here. And if I don't know the answer, I can probably find someone who does.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Anita. See you soon.
Okay, thanks guys.
Bye.
Bye.